Heindel, and I'd like to welcome you to Jiu-Jitsu Fighting lessons. Please notice that the techniques we will show you here are optimized for JJIF Jiu-Jitsu Fighting Competition. Hello guys, today we want to do Tani Otoshi. First of all, I want to show some principles about Tani Otoshi, and later on I want to show 4 different setups for a successful throw. So if you're already familiar with the basics of Tani Otoshi, you can skip the first minute and go directly to the setups. If you want to learn about the basics, about the principles, or if you want to recall the principles, just stay with us for the first minute as well. In the beginning, to get familiar with the technique, I put my partner over a tatami cross. So I put him right over the tatami cross, so I have a reference and I know how to move. Most people think Tani Otoshi is just pulling the partner backwards over the leg, but it isn't. I have to disbalance him with my hip, I have to move his hip so he has no chance to get his balance back later on. So this is not the throw itself, it's just an exercise to get used to the ankles and how to apply pressure. So I need to come in 45 degrees as well. You see, I move my hip close to his hip and I bring my standing leg close to him as well, so I can make pressure later. And now my hip, my upper body and my head makes all pressure to his hip. So if he wants to go away from the pressure, he just can bring the leg in the 45-degree angle. But that's no problem, because I can bring more pressure, I can stretch my leg and he will fall. Just get familiar to this movement. After the basic ideas, we come to the first setup. The first setup is very basic. We have just regular part 2 fighting. So both have grip. We start with a regular grip to get familiar with that. One on the arm, one on the sleeve. And now you see he isn't parallel anymore, because usually during the fight people choose a side and they have a stance. So what I want to do is, because I want to do my technique on my favorite side, I just need to pull him forward. And you see, now here it is, here's my diagonal. So I don't need to move my hip around it, it's exactly here I have my diagonal. So I just have to do the stepping as I did in the basic exercise. The only thing which is different now, I have my hands on him. So I use my hands to supporting me. I press the elbow towards him and to get in the same direction, and also with the sleeve. I work towards him. I close here with the elbow all towards him. In the same time, I close with my foot and with my hip and with my head. And my whole pressure is now with my whole body performed on him, and I just stretch my leg. If you are familiar with it, try it with easy moving. The second setup I have chosen for today is the combination or the feint. If you want to recall the difference between the combination and the feint, go to the combination or the feint lesson, which we have also on YouTube. But for these techniques, it doesn't really matter which you choose. Actually, it's always better if you know both. I start to show you the combination. By the combination, I want to do my first technique. And if he wants to prevent my technique, he needs to do a blocking action. If he blocks right, and if he prevents me good, he brings his hip forward to give me pressure against my hip. But this creates the diagonal which I need. So I just move outside with the hip, I have my diagonal here, I bring all my pressure in this direction, and he has no chance to rebalance again. With the feint, it's the same idea. I just pretend to do the technique, I do not really do it, and I want to force the same reaction, which I can use for my Tani Otoshi. So I push and pretend, he does the blocking, I just move around and I take him down. The third setup I want to show you is the counter attack. So if he does a technique and I block it, I also have the diagonal. So I just need to use it the same way. Closing, pushing and bringing him down. Of course you could say the other guy has the same possibility as well, as we have seen in the setup before. But hey, that's the game. The final setup is directly the changing of the parts from part 1 to part 2. This is a bit tricky. This works only if they have opposite stance. So you see, We have the open stance, there's my diagonal. If he has stays the other way around, I need to use a different technique. So this works only when we have the opposite stance. I have now to do a atemi combination, which is pressing very hard forward, because I have to close the gap between my hip and his hip to make it work. For example, like this. And of course, to make it work in competition, you have to go full speed. This is a do it or leave it technique. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you liked it, and feel free to leave any comment in the YouTube comment function. For more information, please visit my homepage, you will find here, and also visit the page of our sponsor, Ju-Sports. Thank you.